All right, all right, all right. I told y'all that I was gonna pop on here at any given time. I'm your boy, the controversial counselor, live in the counselor's corner. If you've seen the promo I just put up, just wanted to address this damn McDonald's issue. This issue concerning the dad of one of the kids, I guess, a woman with, I don't know, four kids. One of the kids is by this young man. He decides to go gets his son McDonald's, but didn't bring back the other kids McDonald's. And this shit been circulating all day over the day. And I'm wondering, like, why is that an issue? Why is that an issue? It's a choice. It's a choice he made in which he decided to get covered down for his son. But you got a lot of opinions that have been thrown out there in regards to, um, that he should have gotten the other kids something like, how do you show up and get your child something, but not the other children? Is he petty for that or what? First of all of our opinions are drawn on, we're inferring. We really don't know the whole story or all the behind the scenes stuff behind this. But for one, we don't know shit. Maybe that's all he had. Maybe, but according to her, this is what he always does. Okay. But why is that his issue? Why is it his issue a concern about the other children? And that's the way she tried to make it, and pretty much was saying she was gonna, expose him for that. To me, you got exposed because let me say this because then you had other people coming out doing videos talking about, I'm a real man. We need to dead that real man, real woman shit because that's subjective. There's no such thing as reality. Reality is only perception. So, based on your perception or your life experiences or whoever you think is a real man or woman, that's entirely on your perception. So, like he said, he came and covered down for his son. Now, could he had handled it differently? Absolutely. If it was possible to come get his son, say he want to spend some time with him, and make sure he fed him. Now, if it was a happy meal, say you could keep the prize, keep it in the car, so you could have it next time you come over, because you know how kids are. He gets a prize, and I don't even know if they give out prizes this day with the shit we going through. He comes through, and he could be a little car vroom vroom in his brother and sister face and all that stuff. But that's one take. But for her to think that he was entitled to get them something, or he was obligated, that's where she was wrong at. Now, for me, if I'm in his role, I probably would have got everybody something, because I just don't think you don't want to send your child there, then the siblings looking in his face, and they don't have anything. So I'm gonna try to make sure everybody is good. But also, it depends on the nature of that woman's attitude. It seems like she got excuse my language, a fucked up attitude. So if that's the case, then the only person that's not gonna sleep well at night is you, because you got to look at your hungry kids and say, "Oh, don't worry, mommy, my food stamps come on the 11th." That's on you. That's not on him. He came and took care of his. Because if you start, it's McDonald's today, Then his school clothes, sneakers, and all that stuff tomorrow. So he handled his. But granted, even in the counselor's corner, we talk a lot about people making better choices. He decided to lay down with her. It's gonna come with some issues, unfortunately, and vice versa for her. Um, Peace. I'm listening. Thanks for joining. And I'm not gonna be here too long. I just wanted to touch bases as far as that, since it was just stirring up the net today about him. I mean, this shit happens on a regular basis. So I don't know what was the big deal, but I was seeing some other content providers talk about, that was a modern woman reaction, thinking that you know, it was his responsibility to feed all the children. Again, like I said, had she came with a different approach, then probably he would say, you know what, I got you. But when you nasty and you got a nasty disposition, that that's going to determine how people respond to you. So we have to understand that. And she had a nasty disposition, and shit. Now she got to look at them kids that's hungry. Hey Marcia, how you doing? Daphne said I think she thought better of him and etc. Yeah, I mean, we can go with that too. We can go with that too. But at the end of the day, it's why is she leaning on him and not leaning on them other kids' fathers? But again, like I said, we're inferring because we don't know the entire situation. I'm sure some video or something's gonna come out later, and he's gonna be giving his side, and she'll give her side. But still, at the end of the day, it's on her. And like other people who commented, they said if it's a struggle like that, then maybe she should get custody over to him for her son. But then, the comeback will be a lot of guys don't even want custody like that. So that's, and we, like I said, we have these conversations in the counselor's corner on Monday night. So it's kind of push and shove type of argument, but I still think at the end of the day, we don't know how them kids treat, you know, treat Melvin. I'm gonna call his ass Melvin just for the sake of it, because that's everybody's name. But we don't know. They could be some little nasty fuckers. Excuse my language again. In which he said, "Man, I ain't getting them shit. I'm not getting them anything." But I think a lot has to do with the way she handled herself. You see what Daphne got to say. As a man, you should be prepared ahead of time and be proactive. I think it's time to repair the harm, and both lack emotional intelligence and maturity. Charlene says she did, and he's still hitting it from time to time also. Now, that's another caveat. Is he still plowing her? Is he still hitting it? And if that's the case, then, you know, women would think like, okay, we're a package deal. Um, and if that's the case, you probably shouldn't come over there with one burger and a small fry, considering it's times that you may be there when her refrigerator is on full, eating and laughing and enjoying yourself and looking in those kids' face. And that would be the bigger thing for me to know if they were really, if it was a shortage of food in the house and they were hungry out, that would play a role with me, that I would say to myself, okay, I got to get them something. But then again, we don't know. Letitia said the problem is nobody on social media should have known about the situation, and it shouldn't have never been videotaped or posted. A little communication should have worked in private. That's true. Everybody's looking for that silver bullet, or that big video to go viral. Um, Charlene says she. It was. I just watched it, and Daphne says she's community Kit Kat. Mm. Marcia said, first and foremost, I don't feel she should make him feel that he's obligated to treat all the kids as long as he's providing for his son. I personally don't feel it's his responsibility to provide and take up the slack from the other no beat daddies, but this should be based on the type of relationship she and him have. And I think that has a lot to do with it, based on their relationship, and we only can speculate what it is, but it seemed like she was waiting for him to pull up to come out with, because he must have did that several times before. But I think sometimes if you ain't got it, sometimes we have to learn to eat that humble pie. McDonald's don't serve that. They serve other types of pies, but sometimes you got to bite the bullet, and you may have said, if you bring in Terrell something, do you mind if you get the other kid something? I'll pay you back. However, she gonna pay him back. We don't know. We don't know. But I'll pay you back. You know, I get my stamps on such and such. I make you dinner, something. I don't know. And maybe it'd have been some peace. But when you coming off like it was his fault, I think that's where the issue lies. But that could have been handled totally. It could have been handled totally different. I don't know why he wouldn't just get his son. But then again, who knows? Maybe he's not allowed to get him. Maybe he has to have supervised visits. We don't know. It's so many dynamics um, that play a role in our relationships, that we only know what we see, and that's a small snapshot of what was shown. And of course, it it went viral. So you have a lot of back and forth. But again, I just think that at the end of the day, sometimes if the children are living with you, you're the one who has to look in their face, because he was gonna go to sleep. He gonna sleep good at night. Other than the fact that because she threw their son's food out and drink whatever, but I think if that hadn't happened, he felt like, okay, I did what I needed to do. But yeah, people, please like and share the video, and please subscribe to um, the YouTube channel, The Controversial Counselor. So, we could go back and forth on this. And like I said, there's other content providers that, kind of really went in. I only wanted to come in, like I said, I'll pop in here as one of my counselors' concerns and talk about it. I'm not about to go all deep into modern women and give out stats and this and that, but I just wanted to touch on the basic surface level issues that we saw here. Daphne said, in all honesty, as a single mom for a few years, I was buying stuff in bulk and making meals that stretch, like spaghetti, chili, lasagna, soup. Exactly. That's what you do. And hey, if you have to put it in the freezer and all that stuff, and rotate different stuff so they don't feel like they have to eat something 3-4 days in a row, then that's what you do. So I don't know. Is she mismanaging her stamps? We don't know. Charlene said, "Does anybody know how his child felt about this?" I don't know. I don't know. And we also know that children are, it's like a tug of war. They're getting pulled in many directions. So who knows, when the father gets in the son's ear, yeah, daddy brought you on McDonald's, but your mother's so ignorant, she threw it away. Then he goes back, mommy, why did you throw my McDonald's away, and stuff like that. So this is we keep talking about this stuff. This is the stuff that happens the dysfunctions that happens in families, and not only just black families, white families too. So we don't want to put it like that. Big Bad Wolf said, "You know my song, say no to single mothers." Mm, mm, mm. Well, Big Bad Wolf, he didn't say no, and Daphne said that's community Kit Kat. So it must be some flavor or something that people getting at it and they dropping seeds in it and they're asking for these issues down the road because that's what they're essentially he's about to deal with. She said exactly the child's feeling wasn't even considered, of emotional intelligence. Yeah, we know that's a key phrase that a lot of people lack emotional intelligence, and just for the simple fact that you're filming that stuff. It would be the same example it was sent to me about the video that went viral where the um, mother was in the bed with her daughter's baby father, and they went on for I don't know. Seemed like they was videotaping that shit for at least 10 minutes, going back and forth, and he just laying in the bed, she just laying there, and like but then again, we don't know if this stuff be scripted or what, because I highly doubt if they would just be chilling in the bed like that and something's not thrown at them, how people lose control of their emotions. Charlene said he loves his sister and brothers too. He would not want them to be sad, I'm sure. Herbert said he invested in a bad investment. Hopefully he learned. Yeah. And as far as Charlene said, I'm pretty sure um, if his siblings, if they got a good relationship, and if they're in that situation that they're hungry, I'm sure he would want to share with them, or even so, but he wasn't with them because I know kids in situations like that would say, "Hey, Daddy, are you gonna get um Miranda, or I'm just throwing names out there or something?" And the father may say, "Well, they got a daddy," or whatever the case is. Well, it depends on his emotional intelligence. He'd be like, "Okay, what do you think they want? Okay, I'm going to get them the same thing that I'm getting you." But obviously, it's some dysfunction between them two. Uh, Daphne said it's just sad because you have to repair the harm to the child and children. Yeah. And a lot of times it doesn't get repaired, and we don't have those life space conversations that we take time and say, why this happened today. You understand why, for the mothers, you understand why mommy was upset. Usually it's some shit, stay out of grown folks' business and keep it moving. So those conversations have to be had to explain to them what happened, and even far as when the father gets with his son, he's gonna need to have a conversation. But I keep telling you, a lot of times we sweep shit under the rug, and we've been doing that for years. And time goes by, and you'll be shocked what children remember. And as a parent, you were like, damn, I didn't think they remembered that. Then they'll bring it up shit when they 17, 18, 19, like, yeah, I remember this, whatever. I never really knew what happened. Now you feel like you got to explain because they have so many vivid details of what happened, and they know, like, okay, this went down. uh J Diesel Cowboy Travel 79 Smith said, "Good evening, all, and greetings from Arkansas. Yeah, thanks for joining us from the Razorback land, Arkansas. All right, I can't even pronounce that biblical word, so Don't mind me. I never said I was a genius like that. Whatever. 72628 comes to mind a lot. And if you can explain and elaborate on that, some people may know what it means. I don't happen to know like that. Daphne said, clearly the mother is gullible when it comes to men and their sweet talking that leads to having multiple children by multiple men. It's time to sweep from under the rug. Yes, it is. It's time to sweep from under the rug. And I often talk about that dust comes up. When you lift up the rug, it's a pound that it just doesn't dissolve and disappear like it's magical dust. It's gonna be there. It's gonna be there. You can't just the same way you you can't hide shit under the bed and think that it's not gonna be there, because one day you're gonna have to move and you're gonna have to transition to do something else, maybe to a new bedroom set or whatever the case is, and all of that stuff is gonna be there. Uh, so it's about trying to remove the baggage and talk about talk about certain things, and both sides have to be honest, because I think a lot of times that's not the case. So I'm sure homeboy, because the son stays with the mother, she's probably going to tell her version over and over and over and plant seeds, whereas dad may say when he gets with his son, that may be the furthest thing from his mind, that he even mentions that. But then again, we can't say that because it's sometimes the fathers, when they get with their kids, they bad mouthing the mothers as well. So, we have to do better than that. Daphne said, be brutally honest. Somebody said most women don't even know that a man has children until she's already pregnant. Oh, okay. And uh, Herbert said his behavior didn't address the primary reason for the child calling his father. Therein lies the trap, putting her child's initial need behind her other children. Parents need to teach that they're not all going to get the same thing. Daphne said this is where self introspection has to come into place. So yeah, it's a lot of different things that's thrown out there, a lot of different ideologies or things that should happen. And the one thing that, Herb said, children have to be taught that. Well, you don't want to badmouth the other dads, but you may have to let the other children know that Tyrell's dad is he he buys him stuff, and he's more active. It's a hard conversation to tell children because they don't really understand. Then they say, well, why isn't my dad doing that? So it's hard. It's a delicate conversation, but I think it has to somehow be had. um Diesel Cowboy said basically it's a warning for us men to avoid Jezebels, and it will please God Almighty for the men who avoid them. It's a prophecy. One in 1,000 men have wisdom, but none among the women. Daphne said it's time to change the narrative and change your mindset. Charlene said, what would be the harm in men taking on a little more than just what he has to for the good of our children? Well, I don't I don't think it would be a problem, especially something on that level, but it depends on, I think, the mother and her attitude as far as that. I mean, when somebody's struggling and they're honest and open about struggling and they're being genuine and they need help, some guys will move mountains for that, because they'll say, if his mother, if my son's mother is hurting, that means he's going to hurt. And then the other siblings is hurting. If I got it, I'm going to make sure that I could do it. But you may set ground rules. I can't do it all the time, but this particular time I'm gonna do it. So I just I just made sure that everything was okay. And you will have some guys that even would say, "Listen, I'm at the store right now. Y'all need anything? Everything straight? You need anything?" But those are when you have those type of solid relationships, which oftentimes I talk about, and people like, "Oh, people break up, and it's a mutual thing." A lot of times, and that again, I don't believe in those Disney stories. Usually, it's somebody who wants to be there and still wants it to happen, and someone who doesn't. So, therefore, that's where you have this hostility and create these hostile environments. Marcia said, if I was the father after finding out that she had thrown his son's food away, I would made it very clear to my son that from now on I would take you out to eat to avoid all that unnecessary drama because he deserves to spend quality time together. And he should definitely confront her about what she did. The Cowboy Traveler said, I could be wrong, but since Roe versus Wade is over with, no fault divorce is next. Population control by the elites. Yeah, we kind of was going into that or touching on it on Monday night, and we decided that that's a whole nother conversation. So we don't know what they got in store, what they're planning to do. Well, we know if you've been conscious and and as y'all say, if you're awake, you already know what the game plan is. So it's so many things, and one of the things is like in a situation like that, the way it was, you know, everybody was talking about it, and I'm sitting there like, and I commented on some couple people's posts, well, one particular person's post, and I'm thinking like, this should probably happen every day. This happens every day. Probably you have these situations, but you can catch more bees with honey anytime when you don't have something. You can't have a nasty disposition when you're lacking something and you need others. That's to me, that's just how it is. And no matter who you are, whether you're dealing with you at the workplace or whatever the case is, you usually got to fake it till you make it. And having a nasty disposition, it's not going to get you much. Uh, the Cowboy Traveler said a lot of businesses are desperate for employees. Yeah, and that is true too. That's true too. So, I mean, and if you're talking about in regards to maybe her finding a job, or she may have a job, we don't know. So we're just inferring basically and just having a conversation. Uh, Charlene said you could still be asking. You can be still asking for ass either. You can't be still asking for ass either. Well, I always say KYP, know your personnel. If he know that he can get it, and clearly it was something at the time to him, he's gonna try to get it. But then that's where comes the other responsibilities. So as a man, you may say, why bother? Because all this is doing is gonna create a damn headache. It's always gonna be me that she's gonna lean on for stuff, especially if I'm the only one she's sleeping with or whatever. So sleeping brings sleeping it with having sexual relation brings a lot of other responsibilities at times, unless you're both on point with stuff and you just know like, hey, I don't prefer to be with no one else. You don't prefer to be with nobody else. We got this itch. Hey, let's make sure we scratch it. uh Cowboy Traveler said, I'm glad I don't have any kids. This world is not fit to bring kids into these days. I'm 42 years old and I turned 43 July 9th. Happy birthday, brother. If you don't come pop on before, I hope you have an amazing day filled with peace and happiness. And you don't have to worry about children. You can just, hey, do you and live life. But when you have children, that's something you have to worry about. And like I said earlier in this segment, at the end of the day, she is the one, unfortunately, that has to look in her children's face, whether there's nothing to eat. Same thing I say about Christmas time and stuff, and even school time. We live in a world of entitlement that we don't push people to feel uncomfortable because somebody's always bailing them out on something. Like always, I've been saying it for years. Since when has schools, it's been their concern to make sure that families have items for Christmas? That's a lot to take on, and that became a school issue, as far as that, and then kids without book bags and all that. The only way that a person or parents gonna change when the kids start making them feel bad about it. Like, damn, you said it was gonna be better, mom or dad, this year. Another year we get nothing. Another year we get nothing. But long as it's someone giving and handing out and giving, why change? Why worry about it? Because you know someone's gonna have your back, and you know that they're gonna. And the reason why I can speak to this on the school level, because it's been times that we went through, tried to made sure that all the needy families um have something for the kids. Then you may have some parent that turn around and sell all that shit and sell it, and the kids still don't get anything. So I say to myself, listen, I want no part of this. I want no part of this because I'm not big on it anyway. So it don't make or break me. Granted, I grew up getting stuff because we had great family support and made sure that we had stuff. But some people, that's not the case. So he said, thanks, I appreciate it. Proverb 11:22, a beautiful woman lacking discretion and modesty is like a fine gold ring in a pig's snout. 14:1, a wise woman builds her house while a foolish woman tears hers down by her own efforts. Proverb 21:19, it is better for a man to live in the desert than with a quarrelsome, fretful woman. And you dropping some biblical stuff on us, whatever. And that's deep. And it's true. And I think a lot of times people go to church, go to different places, and this stuff is getting dropped on them, but they don't apply it to their everyday life, or they don't tie in the connection. They just do it because it's part of their family tradition. So that's where the disconnect comes into play. So it was a lot. Like I said, all I wanted to come on and kind of talk about some of the lower levels of what happened with that conversation, and I'm sure it's gonna go on. And right now people probably transitioned into the R. Kelly situation, and that's a whole nother segment for me to come on, or save it to the next counselor's corner, because there's so much stuff behind that, where you have people say, hell, he deserved every bit of those 30 years. And then some people like, shit, he ain't the only one. There should be some people going down with him. I kind of lean on there should be some people going down with him, definitely, for sure. And if that's not the case, then of course I think it was all mishandled. Which, shit, it doesn't shock me. That's the American way. So, I mean, if anybody else got anything else they want to add to this, hey, if you even want to, if you want to come on here right quick, I could drop the link that you could come on. But other than that, I just wanted to pop in. Wasn't planning on for it to be on here too long, just to kind of discuss it. And like I said, during the summer, I have my Monday night shows, and usually that's a marathon where we may have a 3 hour, and sometimes 4 hours broadcast. But then it's times that it might be some topic just tearing up social media, and I say, hey, let me come on here and let's just shoot the shit and talk about it. So that's kind of where I was at tonight with this thing. And I'm gonna close it out with basically saying, hey, like I've been saying, at the end of the day, if the child is living with you and it's not another person's child, it's not their child, you're the one have to deal with that. Or you have to lean on their fathers. Now, we don't know where the other fathers were. Well, it might only be one father, it may be two, but certainly the guy that's trying to do the right thing, I don't know if he deserve all that grief. But then, like Charlene said, he's still smashing it. Then he's kind of creating issues for himself. But as an adult, you have to look at how you can make this situation better and stop putting the blame on someone else, because clearly that's what her game plan was, to put the blame on him. And all he was doing, shit, he could have been on lunch break. Let me drop him off something to eat. I'm out. Could you make sure you get that? But then, only the sensitive side of me says, well, if I know the situation and I know the other kids are struggling, and if I got it, I'm gonna make sure they have it too. But there's the side to say, I ain't doing shit because I can stand her. She got a nasty ass mouth. She doesn't appreciate anything, and them kids don't appreciate anything as well. So I'm just gonna get Terrell something, and I'm out. But like Marcia said, and I had said in the post, and maybe if the opportunity presented itself for him to take his son, then that could alleviate a lot of things. But again, we don't know if the situation and the timing, if that was the case. So great discussion, people. Stay tuned. Who knows? Might be back on here tomorrow night talking about the R. Kelly thing or whatever else is surfacing in this always dysfunctional world we live in. So everybody, thanks for joining. Again, please like and share the video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Controversial Counselor, and see you around next time. We see these last comments. Avoid single mothers, cougars, and Jezebels like the plague. Matthew 7:6, cast not your pearls before swine unless they trample them underfoot and turn to attack you. And shalom. Peace on to you, brother. And I'm out. See you next time, people. And like I said, thanks for joining. And please like and share the video. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, The Controversial Counselor, please make sure you subscribe, because we go at it with these day-to-day conversations. And just think, on Monday nights, it's usually me and like 6, 7, 8 other people on the panel. So that's how we do it here. All right, good people. I'm out. Everybody, enjoy the rest of your night. Stay safe, be alert, and I'll see you next time. Peace.